5, 16, 19, 21, 33, and 10. Check results. You remember?
Pod a day. I don't know what number it is, but you know what's actually great? I got my laptop here so I can actually just check for once and not just be floundering. But I think it's like 192 or something, I'm not sure. It's raining, it's pouring. The old men are snoring. And we've got some things to talk about today. There's things I didn't even mention that happened a while ago, but they happened so long ago now. It's like I don't even think it's worth it. And I am Marvin. I'm kind of tired, but I feel like I'm always of a certain level of tiredness that this is probably just feeling normal, and I'm just over exaggerating. But I'll say I'm tired for the bit. It's not a bit, but I'll say for the what I'm doing. I'm forgot what the first thing I said. I'm tired, and I've got to do 3 of these in a row. Technical errors, this and that, blah blah blah. I've got to do 3 of these in a row, catching up, backlogging, also not backlogging. For when I can't, I got to do 3. Don't worry why, but I do. And then after I do 3 of these, three of these sitting here on my own, talking to myself about sort of Twitter news, or just stuff I found on Twitter, right? And then I got to do my Formula One podcast, which at least I'll have like stuff that's actually flowing out of the brain, because Austria was fun. I love Austria. I don't know much of it as a country, never been. I've not really travelled much, but Austria comes across as a cool place. Well, no, it doesn't. Austria comes across as maybe like a beautiful landscape, and they got a great Formula One track there, a great race track. That's what I'll say about that. So that should be decent. When I sit here, by the way, as someone who's been doing this for 190 something episodes now, which makes it sound like it's more experience than it is realistically about 6 months, because it's been daily. You get the gist. With all that being said, right, I feel like I'm still trying to figure out what my format is, like because I still don't really do any segments. I don't really do any I don't really have a like precise intro, outro. I keep a through line. I don't really have any sort of specific route I go down. And I get a lot on my Instagram, like my recommended or whatever, my explore page, is occasionally I'll get podcasts of 2 guys sitting there. It's basically shits and gigs, but not shits and gigs vibes. Whereas 2 guys sitting there and they're like talking about, it's like a clip from the podcast, right? And they're talking about random something, like, and then the clip will be them bringing up the topic. One of them says something to the other one, then that one will have an answer, and then they'll laugh like it's painful. Laugh so hard like their eyes are watering, and it's like I love a podcast where they have those moments, right? Where like it's like so funny, but like my problem is I don't laugh. Well, I wish I could laugh that hard often, but like that is a rare thing. That's a rare thing. And I clicked on one of these accounts. It was yesterday. It was like classic. It was like guy sitting in 2 chairs. One says something, and then they just start dying of laughter. And I was sitting there thinking, this isn't that funny. But then I watched about 3 or 4, and I was like, I do find myself smiling at some of these. But then I'm also like, this is just kind of manipulative, because you're dying of laughter. It's hard for me not to laugh. Like they're laughing so it's like, and then their eyes are red and stuff, and there's like tears in their eyes. It's like, do they just find each other that funny? Or is it because also the way they present the moments is like I can't imagine listening to their podcast outside of just these clips. Like I can't imagine there's another like 60 minutes or whatever that exists outside of this 2 minutes they've just shown me, because like they present it in a way that it feels like a sketch. Like I'm the straight man, you're the funny guy, you're the dope one who doesn't really understand stuff. I'm gonna say something to you, you're gonna like play along with the bit, and then we're gonna do this scene and it's done. Like it feels like they're just filming clips. It's not for a podcast. Like it's weird. And they'll sit there and they'll do that. They'll be laughing their fucking head off. And also it's like one of those things where it's like they say it's really hard to make a comedian laugh. I don't know why it is. Probably because they're like, I don't know, they just heard it all. But it's just hard to make a comedian laugh. And often when you listen to like a podcast and it's got like whoever your funniest comedian is, they're kind of sitting there. Sometimes you're looking at them thinking, do they even want to be here or whatever? Or like you can tell the host is trying their best just to get like a little smirk out of them at some point, right? And they'll be sitting there and they'll just be saying little things here and there, making everyone else laugh and stuff. And it's just like, they're the funniest guy in the room. So like when there's a two podcast people and it's like they're dying at each other, you know, the classic. No, our vibe is we want to try and make a fucking podcast where it's just like, imagine you're just out at the pub with the lads, just having a conversation. That's what we want basically. That's our podcast in a bottle. Two lads, you know, having a laugh, having banter, and it's like you're in on the convo. It's like you're the third friend sitting in on the banter. We're just having a banter, you know, banter. And that's what like a lot of this format is. But then I'm like, are they forcing it too hard? Because I know shits and gigs, they're like they're at the peak of that. They're sort of they're the blueprint. You know, they're the guys you'd say do. I don't listen to their podcast, but I see their clips come from Twitter a lot, and I know a lot of people likes their podcast, and I know they've reached overseas now because you see a lot of like American people talk about them. So they're pretty big. I know the numbers are huge, right? They're the blueprint, and I'm sure they're good at what they do. But then there's just like so many others. I don't know if they're like immediate copycats. I mean, is it? Can you really say it's copying? Like ultimately, it's two people doing a podcast where we're just having a laugh. Like I don't think Shits and Gigs fucking started that. To be honest, I think their podcast is only really like 3 years old, and like in podcast years, that's not long. So you know, it's just something I noticed, like this classic format, the back and forth, the fucking die laugh at every clip. And maybe I'm just sad and depressed on the inside because I'm sitting here alone in basically a shed as it rains down upon me with nothing to mention, and not a single smile has came to my face in that time. So there's that. There is that. That's potentially the case. You know something else I saw which did make, well, it didn't make me smile. I can't even lie. I tried to lie there and say it made me smile just to sort of make me look human. Not really much to say. It was just like a news outlet saying, you know when a news outlet just like posts a quote from a celebrity and then that's just it. That's the news. It was Pete Davidson and it was saying, I don't like being referred to as Ariana Grande's boyfriend. Like I don't like when people, no, it's ex. Sorry, I forgot that was old for a second. I don't like people referring to me as Ariana Grande's ex. You know, I don't know if that constitutes for all of the exes because he's been the ex of a lot. Although I only remember Kim Kardashian and Ariana Grande off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's been a lot more. I know there's been a lot more. I just don't remember him. He's got quite the streak going, right? And anyway. The quote was just, "I don't like being referred to as Ariana Grande's ex." First of all, right, bigger fish to fry here. I don't think she'd. If I was Ariana Grande, I don't think I'd much like being referred to as Pete Davidson's ex. I don't know if there's bad blood there. I'm just saying, off of sort of levels on the two, you got Pete Davidson and you got Ariana Grande, and Pete Davidson. How do I say this? Let's just say most people, like if Gary from down the pub, right, went on like was going out of Ariana Grande and then they split. 20 years from now on the pub, Gary would still be going on about, yeah, I remember I had that fling with Grande, and he'd be like, oh, you always bring it up, Gary, and he's like, yeah, that's like his claim to fame, right? I don't think Ariana Grande would, you know, that's a skeleton she'd like to keep firmly in the closet. Paul was sort of like a rebound, like she doesn't want to go back to that. Now, Pete Davidson, let's just say it's hard to say if Pete Davidson's punching, because it gets to a point, right, where you're punching, right, up. But then if every single person you've been with is an upwards punch, at some point you have to be saying you're crawling your way back into that level. Or this could just be another one of these like Hollywood fucking inside job schemes things where you just don't know what's going on. Because like Hollywood's weird and there's shit that goes on in Hollywood that's like fucking mental. And I don't know what it is, and I don't know on what extent it is. But Pete Davidson's sort of girlfriends is just definitely something that needs to be looked into. Along with, I could say that for another podcast actually, but spoiler alert, The Idol, which I haven't watched, but from everything I've heard, from just sort of in passing and stuff, I've just thought, oh god, especially because I like Euphoria as a show. I don't know how The Idol has been so dog shit apparently, and it kind of scares me for Euphoria season 3, because although I liked season 2, and I liked season 2 more than season 1, I said it, boom, dropped the mic. I'm not going to do that. I'm actually holding the mic. I didn't even come close to dropping it. My grip stayed the exact same. But most people didn't, and it kind of scares me because I want season 3 to be good, and I feel like it's just going to get fucking crazy, and he's going to, everyone's going to be shirtless, and just sort of, there's not going to be no storyline going on. And that's the fear. That is the fear. But we pray, we beg. Oh yeah, the Hollywood thing. Yeah, so aside from the Idol, which I'll get into about the whole fucking mess that was, this is like I never brought up about the Flash, which I know I mentioned the Flash so much recently, but what is that inside job? And I know it could just be as easy as we paid these celebrities to say this, but like the whole Tom Cruise and fucking every man under the sun, fucking like directors who like hate big blockbuster stuff, going in and watching it, being like, this is the best film of all time. What was that about? Did we just pay him a lot of money to say that? Like, how much money though? Because like Tom Cruise is very, very rich. So how much money, are you paying him just to say those words? And also, like, if you did, it didn't even work. No one saw it. There's this YouTube video, and I kind of want to make a video in the same vein. It's not sure the title yet. And he did a video. I've never actually watched the video, but I just see it. It comes up my recommended all the time, which is how not to market a movie. And he has another one called how to market a movie. And I can't remember which one is the one which is marketed well. I think it's A Dark Knight. But then he said how not to market a movie, and it's a picture of Babylon. Apparently Babylon was just marketed really poorly, and like no one saw it and whatever. But like the Flash thing, I don't know if that was marketed well or not well, because like surely it was doing everything right. It had all the good word of mouth. They were paying people to say this and that. They were going here, going there. I mean, they didn't help actually with the whole Ezra Miller scenario, but like it just flopped so badly at the box office. Like even I knew I wouldn't like it. I knew I wasn't going to see it. I didn't want to see it. But I thought that it was going to get like really high Rotten Tomatoes. It ended up getting like a 7. It was mid. I thought it was going to get like high 80s or something. I thought it was going to do really well in the box office. I thought it was going to be one of those things where everyone liked it and was saying it was actually better than No Way Home. And I was going to be the one, like, guys just screaming in the rain into like fucking oblivion. Like, you idiots! Why? What are you seeing it? Blah, yeah. Just sort of shouting, and everyone would be like, no, shut up. Majority rules. Get back in your cave, Goblin. But get back in your cave. That's what I really thought that would be the case. But it didn't. It didn't. To my sort of relief, kind of. No, I'm not like wishing it to do poorly. Like, I'm not gonna, I don't care regardless, really, because it's not affecting my enjoyment. But like at the same time, it was kind of just nice, because in the future arguments that arise that will happen, oh boy, they will happen. It's like I'm just happy that those arguments. That's just one I can avoid now. I don't have to bite my tongue over or anything like that. But that's just how the cookie crumbles. I'm on Twitter right now, and all I'm seeing is football-related bullshit, and it's actually making me pissed. Well, not pissed, just sort of depressed and sad because, Mason Mount. I spoke about that before. Adolf Hitler's trending. That's nice. He'll be loving that in his grave, mate. But no, there's also this thing actually. I've not even watched it yet. The video that it doesn't matter. It's just a woman screaming on a plane about something. She's off her fucking face. The plane's taken off, I think, and she's like, get me off this plane, and they're like, no, and she's like off her head, like saying, well, but I'm going crazy or some shit, and they're like, no. And it's just one of those things, right? I feel like if you're American, or you're on like American airline from like Texas to fucking, where's far from that, like New York or something, I don't know, you're on a flight, it's from America, and this woman's acting crazy, you'll get one guy stand up and be like, yo, shut the fuck up! Yo, shut up, dude. Like, shut your fucking mouth. Like, he'll get someone stand up and just like, yo, shut up, man. Like, he'll get someone just shout, right? But, like, I mean, this flight, everyone was pretty quiet, so, but the woman wasn't, like, American maybe was sounding or something. So I'm not sure where the flight was going to or where it was from. Maybe everyone just adopts the same sort of mentality on a plane. But I see, like, videos on the train, and, like, there's one guy just, like, rocking back, like, going crazy. And you'll just get people, like, if there's one guy shouting, it's not like everyone's going to act like they're not even noticing it. You'll get someone be like, yo, shut the fuck up. Whereas England, it's very much like everyone will just not say anything, but they want everyone else to know that they notice what's going on, but they're not going to say anything, but they are annoyed. So if that woman was shouting down the aisles of a train, everyone would just sort of have an AirPod in or something, and they'll be like looking down, acts like it doesn't happen, but they'll be doing this thing with their face where it's like they do this thing where they're obvious. Everyone's sort of doing this thing where they stare into oblivion. So it's like so they look extra depressed. So like everyone knows like that kind of thing. It's hard to explain. Basically, they're ignoring it, but they want you to know. But they want everyone like we're in this together. But we're all gonna like this isn't happening. This isn't happening, and it's kind of just like the house is on fire, but we're just gonna act like it's not. And I'm tired of just trying to get home, but it does suck. Like if you're trying to get a flight back, and it's like it's a 9-hour flight. This woman's acting crazy. I just was hoping for a good flight. I was actually kind of happy I got on this plane. I was by the aisle. I wanted the aisle seat. Like I stretched my legs halfway through it. Things are actually coming up Millhouse, and then that happens, and you're like, fucking hell. Anyway, I've hit my threshold. I got 2 more of these to do. I'm probably gonna be chatting a bit about football in one, a bit about the Idol in the other, amongst other things maybe. This was pod a day. We do a pod every single day until I fucking die or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I think this is like 192, so I'll see you guys in 193.
With the kids, and I have like 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'll ever meet. Like,